Hi scholars, this is Mr. Rosas. I'll be recording a video for you that'll go with the lesson for this week. This week's lesson is Intro to the Middle East. This will be Unit 5, and this will deal with the Middle East. And you will have some assignments that go with it. We will be doing all of this just like we normally do on Google Classroom. So here you can see I've made a new folder for us. It's called Middle East Lessons due March 27th. So there are 4 short assignments that go with it. It shouldn't be too difficult. They will be due on March 27th, but like you normally would in class, you can turn these in whenever you would like. I mean, before March 27th. So if you finish this one today, you can turn it in today. And you go from the top to the bottom. One more announcement. I will have tutoring online on Tuesdays from 11:30 to 12:30 if you have any questions. My Google Voice number is 972-379-9166 if you would like to talk to me about any questions you might have. And as just like always, you can also add questions here on Google Classroom. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I've uploaded is a Google Slides presentation for the Middle East, and we'll go over that right now. It's going to look something like this. So it's going to be Intro to the Middle East. We'll be talking about conflicts in the Middle East, but before we do that, just like normal, we will go over the geography of the Middle East. So the first assignment you're going to have is a Smart Start. It's a KWL chart. And you need to write 1 complete sentence about what you know about the Middle East, 2 complete sentences what you want to know about the Middle East, and then at the end of the lesson, 3 sentences about what you have learned about the Middle East. And you will find that right here. Here are the instructions. And here's the assignment. Sorry about that. So, you will fill in 1 thing you know about the Middle East, 2 things you want to know about the Middle East, and at the end of the lesson, 3 things that you have learned about the Middle East. All right, and just like always, once you do that, there will be a turn in button up here. You will turn it in, but I would suggest that you not turn this one in until after the lesson on Friday sometime, so that you can put the 3 things that you learned about the Middle East. All right, and again, you will be doing that in complete sentences. So let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation. That will be the first thing. That's the Smart Start. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about the Middle East. These are kind of your notes. Yes, 1 page of notes. So it'll be real easy. So the Middle East is a cultural region. It contains countries with similar ways of life from Asia, Europe, and Africa. Now, what we mean by cultural region is that the countries in this area in that's a little bit darker, they share similar ways of life. So for example, anything about culture, we call this a region because, for example, some of the countries in this region speak the same language. Many of the countries here speak the Arabic language. A lot of the countries here, the major religion in each of these countries is Islam. Or for some of these countries, they have similar governments, theocracies. And as we discussed in last unit, there's also a lot of countries that have kind of dictatorships or unlimited government. So that's why we call this a region, a cultural region, because they have a lot of the same culture throughout. They've got some similar aspects of culture. And as you remember, culture is the way we live everyday life. Now, because it's a cultural region, you will find that some places, that different places will call the Middle East different things. So, for example, some places will not consider this part, this northern Africa part of the Middle East. They may just consider this part the Middle East, or they may consider all of this the Middle East, or just this the Middle East. There are some places that will consider Somalia part of the Middle East. There are some places that will not consider Afghanistan or Iran part of the Middle East. There are some places that won't consider Turkey part of the Middle East. So just know that this isn't you could do a search for maps of the Middle East, and you will find different people's interpretations of the Middle East. Does that make sense? But for our case, we're just going to use this as our as what we're going to call the Middle East. So here you have a blank map. If we were doing this in class, you would have filled out this blank map by filling out, certain geographic features. Since we're not in class, just make sure that you know that you look over this map. There's going to be some questions about this map. There's going to be a few questions about this map. Make sure you look at the different bodies of water, the different geographic features, the different political features. Here are the names of the countries, and that should help you with the lessons going forward. All right, so the next thing you're going to do, you're going to go back to your lessons. There's going to be a reading about the Middle East. So what you're going to do is you're going to read this. You're going to take the time to read it, look at it carefully. They call it Southwest Asia, but this is kind of what it's the Middle East. So make sure you read it. If you're able to, it may be helpful to print this out and highlight it and annotate it. I know some of you may not be able to do this, but so if you're not able to, reading it, just make sure that you read it carefully, that you take a look at some of the questions on the side, because a lot of these questions are going to be on your next assignment. All right, so you're going to read it. You're going to take a look at it. You're going to make sure you understand this. If there are any questions, again, ask me. And that's going to lead you to your next assignment. Let me see if I can find your next assignment. After you do the Middle East reading, there's going to be map and reading questions. And I don't think I have uploaded that one yet. I'll fix that right now. Okay, here are the map and reading questions. All right, so there's just going to be 10 questions using the map in the PowerPoint presentation, in the slide presentation, or any map online. Answer these questions and answer the questions. The map questions will be questions 1 through 4. The reading questions using the reading will be questions 6 through 10. Again, make sure you use specific evidence from the text to answer your questions. That's the next assignment. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's continue on with our reading. All right, then you're going to have some independent work. And what you're going to do is that's going to be the next assignment. You're going to open it. And it's going to look something like this. All right, so if you look at the instructions are here on the assignment and also right here. So what you're going to do, you're going to read each little passage. You're going to identify all the examples of physical geography that you can find, all the examples of human geography that you can find, and then you're going to write a complete sentence that explains how the physical geography affects the human geography. So we'll do this one together. So let's do this together. So let's read it. The largest sand sea in the world is the Rub al Khali, or empty quarter, in the southern part of the peninsula. The climate is so dry, misspelling, sorry, that there are no permanent human settlements. So first thing you're going to do is list all the examples of physical geography. All right, so if you're following along, largest sand sea. It's located in the southern part of peninsula. Dry. No, and it's dry, right? Okay, now we're going to put in the examples of human geography. All right, well, humans name it, so they named it the empty quarter. No permanent human settlements, right? So those are the examples of human geography. So now our last thing we have to do is write a complete sentence that explains how the physical geography affects the human geography. Well, how can we connect something here with something here? Well, couldn't we say that it's a dry and it's full of sand? And because of that, there are no human settlements. So, the Rub al Khali is dry and full of sand. So there are no human settlements. Why aren't there human settlements? Because it's difficult to live here, right? Because it's dry, they don't have water, it's the largest sand, so it's just, they call it a sand sea, full of sand. So that's how you would do that, right? So you're going to do that for the rest of them. Then, at the end, you're going to have, we'll call it an exit ticket or a short quiz. That's going to be this. It's just going to be 4 short questions based on the lesson that we've done, and then you're going to be finished. And again, all of these are due Friday, March 27th. You can turn them in before that. I would suggest, since you guys are doing about 30 minutes a day, maybe you do one a day. You take one day, 30 minutes of one day to do the reading, and then turn them in, turn one in assignment every day. So, if there are any questions, please go through the stream, post your question here on the stream, or on Tuesday you can give me a call from 11:30 to 12:30. All right. So I hope this helps. I hope I didn't just ramble on and you find this helpful. I hope you and your families are doing well. I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.